Alright guys, welcome to the video today. So in this video, I'm continuing my underdog weapon series, except for this time we're starting off with the Jade Rabbit. Now the Jade Rabbit is something that I knew was pretty good for a while. I've seen a few videos where it's being used, but I've never really heard people talk about it much. It's never really been a discussion point amongst the community, at least the strong PvP trials sweaties community. But a friend of mine who recently came back to Destiny, his name is Inspire, he's a really good player, and he likes to use things that aren't exactly the most orthodox methods of, like, you know, doing well in sweats or whatever. He likes Hawk Moon, he likes Jade Rabbit, and he was using Jade Rabbit in a sweaty match and he was actually doing really well with it. And I was watching his stream and it looked like a really good weapon, so I wanted to try it out. So this morning I headed to Twitter, finding an account that had the Jade Rabbit on it. Fortunately, a buddy of mine from Resolute named 6Trays allowed me to use his account today. I got a good number of games in and I have a solid understanding, I feel like, of the weapon, so I wanted to make this next episode about the Jade Rabbit. So starting off with the stats and perks of this weapon, if you go on the Bungie website and you look up any gun, it's going to give them a rating for rate of fire, impact, range, stability, and reload speed out of 100. So for the Jade Rabbit, it has rate of fire put at 27, impact rating of 61, 94 range, 24 stability, and 65 reload speed. So even though the stability might lead you to believe that the recoil is a bit ridiculous, it's actually really easy to recoil control on this weapon. It's something similar to like a decently high stability IS Luna, and because of the super high range and the natural aim assist of the weapon, it just feels really easy to put your shot back on their head. And so far I haven't really had any trouble with aiming the weapon and dealing with the recoil. As far as perks goes, it has the Fate of All Fools perk, and it says chaining body shots will give bonus damage on your next precision shot and return ammo to the magazine. I believe you get an ammo return of either 4 or 5, and then Zen Moment, which makes it so causing damage with the weapon increases its stability, and then spray and play when the mag is empty, you're gonna reload a lot quicker. So the magazine size isn't exactly the best on this weapon, so I feel like this is a really strong perk for this weapon in particular. It may not be the best perk for other weapons like IS Luna, but for this weapon specifically, I actually really like spray and play on it. And then they have different ballistic options, which is CQB ballistics, which gives you greatly reduced recoil with a significant penalty to range, soft ballistics, which gives you less recoil and a penalty to impact, and then smart drift control, which gives you predictable and controllable recoil with a penalty to range. My first recommendation for this weapon is to never run it with a sniper. I did run it with a sniper for one game, and that's where I kind of found that this weapon really doesn't offer much else than a sniper does, except for obviously it has more consistency and it's a primary. So if you're going to be sniping people at long range and you're going to be primarying people at long range, unless you want to sit in the back of the map and basically just run on the outskirts of the map, it's probably not going to work out too well. And a lot of people would say, hey, but I use, you know, a universal remote and a sidearm, and both of those cover in general, you know, close distances. But the thing is, the way Destiny maps are designed, they're very oriented to close quarters combat, I guess you could say. There's a lot of cover, a lot of tight doorways, and in general, if you have 2 short range weapons instead of 2 long range ones on most maps, except for something like First Slider Bastion, it's probably going to work a lot better for you. Of course, if you adapt some sort of hyper passive playstyle, perhaps it could work. But as far as the general recommendation, I would strongly suggest you pair this with a shotgun. Some people aren't comfortable with shotguns, so maybe if you're one of those people, then this weapon might not be for you. But since I'm pretty flexible, I feel like with my special weapons, I really enjoy running Jade Rabbit with a shotgun. I know a lot of people might be watching this video because they see a scout rifle and they see the word underrated, so they probably want to, you know, try using a scout, because scouts are not very often used in PvP, and that's for a good reason. It's mainly because of map design. If it's not catering to a hand cannon on a certain map, chances are it's going to be catering to a pulse rifle. Scout rifles really don't have an area where they're particularly dominant in, other than, like I said, maps like First Light or Bastion. But if you're getting used to playing a little bit more passive and you can take something like a different scout rifle that's not Mida multi-tool, I would suggest either going back and doing the VOG for Vision of Confluence. Maybe you have that already, and if you don't, if you have a Saturian Rapier, I think I'm saying that right, then go ahead and use that. I actually have a really good one. I believe I have Perfect Balance, Outlaw, and Zen Movement with a relatively short range scope, and it's actually really nice feeling. The recoil is very, very subtle. If you can get headshots, obviously I have Outlaw in mind, so it's a little bit easier. It can come down to rolls, but if you want to get used to a scout that can just be used in a lot of situations and that you can maybe pair with a sniper on something like Widow's Court or Shores of Time, I would definitely suggest you look into Saturnian Rapier or the Vision of Confluence. Both are two of my personal favorites. I feel like the archetype is kind of perfect for legendary scouts. I really don't think something with higher or lower impact is that necessary, unless you're using, like I said, something like a shotgun. Then Jade Rabbit would actually be a pretty good choice for you if you're playing on a map like Shores of Time, Rusted Lands, anything with big lanes and open space. Because if you're in a map like Pantheon where a lot of it is just tight corners and running around doors and hallways and bridges and stuff, it's not going to work as well. That's what I kind of found. I didn't really like it that much on Pantheon. Surprisingly, I actually kind of liked it on Thieves Den because of the main initial, like 2 people pour out of spawns on either side and then everyone meets at B. So there's kind of like this lane where you shoot across. And I feel like if you can just find a lane to sit in and that you can run to off spawn every time, then this is a very strong weapon. I hope you enjoyed my video today, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Peace.